Welcome back to day 8 of Invictus, and we have Anvil still in the show hall. Coming up this weekend, we still have the Drake Kraken and Kraken Privateer available in 3 different waves. This will be Saturday and Sunday, May 25th and 26th. Check it out if you want one of these massive ships. Well, we do have one brand new WARBONDS CCU today with the Carrack. It's a $40 discount. Let's see what our options are. Okay, so the first option we have is the Hull D. This is still in concept, so I would not recommend it. With a price point of $10 to save $40, but you might lose it all, and yeah, the Hull D might be well over the Carrack's normal price here of $600. I mean, that would just add $50. I would not recommend the Hull D. You'll probably be what you would say underwater with this one. M2 is up next. Spend 40 to save 40. Whew, that's a tough one. Like that's at the final ratio. You save $1 and you spend $1, or I guess for every dollar you spend, you save $1. It sounds like something that would be in a commercial for a grocery store or something. Anyway, the M2 hasn't had a recent WARBONDS CCU. It did have a couple, or at least two back in 2021. So it's been skipped over quite a few times for quite a few events. And there's always IAE of this year and next year and after that as well. So I would probably go with this one just to be sure. What else down the stack here? Okay, so the Hull C is now live. It is no longer concept. The ship has been deployed to production. Spend 60 to save 40. Meh. That's a big meh on that one. It's had a couple WARBONDS, one this year actually. It had one in January, $50 discount. So I suppose it's not a terrible option. Thinking back, the M2 Herc here, that had a $40 discount. So if the exact same WARBONDS came back, and just so you guys know, if a WARBOND is here today and then comes back again even next week or the next event, it's not guaranteed to be the same discount. So don't expect that you will always get the same discount if a WARBOND CCU shows up for the ship you need in your chain. Anyway, going back to the M2 here, it was a $40 discount both times it was available previously. Again, these were back in 2021, so it has been a while. So that would have been, this would be spend 40 to save 40, assuming it came back around again. And the Hull C, if it comes around again, I think it was a $50 one both times. So January this year and then October of last year. What was in October? I don't know what was in October of last year, but anyway, they had a random WARBOND for the Hull C back in October, and then again, like I said, this year in January was also a $50 discount. So that would be, if you had this one already, that would be $110. Or wait, no, I'm sorry, that'd be $90 worth of savings. My bad, $90 worth of savings and 60, whatever you paid for this one. I don't know. Yeah, this one's kind of tough because I think M2's definitely had a couple, but it's been a while. So maybe it's time they come back. I don't know. But then the Hull C has been very recent, and it seems like since its launch, it's had 2 already. If they keep up with the trend that they've been doing, it's like a new ship will get released. It has a WARBOND near its release, and then it continues to have them over the next 6 quarters or something. It at least has a higher chance, right, of having a WARBOND over the next 6 quarters. That's a year and a half for those that don't speak in quarters. I think I would want to just maximize the savings and go for the M2 on this one personally, because I don't have anything up this high. The only thing, what's hilarious is the only ships I have that are up at this like 600 plus, really like $400 plus amount. I'm really utilizing free CCUs that I got back in 2016 to get to that final ship. So playing at this high a level, you guys are going to have to make your own determination. But again, if I was trying to get to the Carrack today, I would probably just want to maximize savings, hit the M2. However, if I had a whole C already in my stable, I would probably spend the extra 20 and complete that chain, because it's highly unlikely you're going to get, what would it be? So an M2 Herc. See, I don't think the M2's over here. It won't be for, oh, it is. Okay, cool. So M2 Herc is here, and then the whole C is just the next one anyway, so you're still going to spend 20. And if this M2 Herc goes on discount and you're counting on your whole C Warbond that you already have, it'll be below the price of $500. I can almost guarantee it'll be at least a $40 discount, if not a $50 discount. So the whole C wouldn't be the next ship. So you'd skip this one entirely. Let's say it was a $50 discount, so there'd be what, $470, which means you'd have to go up from the Prowler, which means 470 the discount, that's a $30. So you'd spend $30 if you had the M2. Okay, so let me walk you through that again. If you have a whole C Warbond, whatever that happened to be, something upgraded to a whole C in a Warbond CCU, and you want to get to the Carrack, I would recommend going with the whole C to Carrack Warbond. What happened? Oh, I got an M in here. So I would do this if I already had a whole C. Just complete that chain. It's going to be better off, and you won't have to skip this if you get the A2. Or M2, sorry, I apologize, the M2. If you don't have any Warbond CCUs in any of these ships, the 600i, Prowler, no, skip. I'll get to these later. If you don't have a Warbond to the M2 or the whole C, just hit up the M2. I think because you're going to save the most money now, and you're still planning your chain and don't know how it's going to connect anyway. Just save as much money as you can right now. That's what I would recommend. Again, if you're going to the Carrack or something beyond the Carrack, that's what I would do. Back to the rest of the list, though. The 600i, you're spending 85 to save 40. I really wouldn't recommend this. There's plenty of jumps you would be able to make. If for some reason you had a 600i already, I know they've had a couple Warbonds in the past. Recently, actually, very recently. What was it? End of February or something? Valentine's Day, right? The 600i Explorer had a Warbond CCU, and then I think in November, end of IAE or something, they had one, and they've had at least one other that I can think of. And checking the CCU game, I see 4. So there's another one that was back in 2021 as well. So if you had a 600i Explorer, you could make this jump and call it a day, but you're leaving a bunch of money on the table. What I would suggest instead is doing, again, if you didn't have any of these other 2 ships, I would grab the M2 Herc, just get that one done, and then this is a way you can do it backwards here. So 600i Explorer, right? And then you got to do something that's probably a $45 minimum difference, right? So this would be 25 to get to 500, and then 520 is $45. Yeah, I would hope for the M2 Herc. That's exactly what I would do, right? So if you have a 600i Explorer Warbond already in your stable, I would go for the Carrack to M2 Herc. Again, if you're going to the Carrack or something that's a higher price. If you're going to something else, then maybe it would make sense you jump straight to Liberator. That doesn't make much sense, though. That's a $100 difference. Yeah, I think this is going to be in a lot of people's chains. This is the next jump up. And then hope that the M2 actually has a Warbond discount. And hope it's only like a $40 discount instead of $50. If it's $50, you won't be able to use the 600i Explorer, because the discount would be 20 here, 30 here, which means you're at a price point of a bare minimum of, I know you guys can do the math. It'd be $470 for a $50 discount. So at 4, yeah, you'd have to get the 600i Touring. That's the next. Oh wait, hold on, scratch that. Okay, so you'd have the Prowler. That would be a hair better. But again, Prowler to this at a $50 discount would be still $570, which means you're still spending $30 to save $50. That's actually pretty good. So that's how that would play out, kind of a speculative thing. So that's why if you're going for the Carrack Warbond right now, I would still recommend the M2, only unless you have a whole C already as a Warbond in your stable, then go for that. Would not recommend the 600i. The chain could get messed up and wouldn't work, especially if you did get a Warbond M2. And a Prowler's just leaving. So what's it, 120? Yeah, you're leaving so much on the table here that I can't recommend that one. So there you have it. That's my analysis of all the new Warbond CCUs. Again, we still have the Saber Firebird and the Tally. There's here somewhere. So there's a Firebird. It's still available. And the Tally. The Retaliator for long is still available with a bunch of different options, especially if you go into the extras section of the store. You can get the different modules enabled as well. All of them have Warbond pricing. Or you can wait around and buy them in game. Personally, I'm still kind of throwing the idea back and forth about buying any type of add-on module for a particular ship. I have a feeling that now that modularity is kind of being built in, especially with how they've done it with the Retaliator and how they're planning it for the Galaxy, probably others too that I can't think of right now. I have a feeling that eventually they will have some sort of modularity for most ships that kind of can manage a cargo in the back or on their belly or whatever. If it's some sort of a cargo ship, they're probably going to introduce some sort of modularity that you can tack onto it. I even imagine this for something like the Nomad, right? Having different kinds of modules in the back just to spice things up a bit. It makes sense for the long term of the game. Again, none of this has been talked about in the dev chats or anything. They specifically mentioned modularity for ships that that they had already promised modularity on. Although I don't know that all of them have been validated and verified that they will continue to have modularity as they were originally promised. I think the Titans may have had modularity at one point because they had a bunch of different versions of Titans that you could eventually, I suppose, have just a different module placed in the rear. They've got the one with the sarcophagus. I'm sorry, the the little jails in the back. They've got the one with the EMP, and then they've got the liveaboard with the cargo. I imagine plethora of other modularity choices will come out with this. You guys got to realize that with modularity, the idea is here's the distinct size and shape that you can use within this ship. Whatever our assets are that we have, whether it's a medical table, whether it's a dispensing station for drugs, whether it's a weapons workbench in the future, whether it's just a storage grid, cargo grid or something, all of those different assets and art types can be put into these modules. So it's totally feasible that you might have an ambulance Titan in the future. Like that's not out of the realm of possibility. It's not out of the realm of possibility when we start talking about modules and how they intend to kind of redo anywhere you have a cargo section to be able to have modularity. They could totally do that with the Titan, with the Terrapin, with the 600 series. Obviously, they did it with the Tally. They could do it with the Cuddy Black. Instead of having all the different versions of the Cuddy Black, they could just make this is the Cuddy Black module section. You've got the Cuddy Blue with the storage, the human storage devices. You could put a quick little data center in there for data running. You could do all these other things, right? You could any of the Cuddy Black, Blue, Red, Steel, and I'm assuming eventually Purple, right? Instead of having distinct ships, eventually they will have, here's the Cuddy, and here's all the modules available, just like what they're doing with the Retaliator, right? I like the idea of modularity because it's another way to upgrade your ships without having to buy a whole new other ship. Maybe some sour grapes for people that have one of every Cuddy, but again, we all know what we're doing when we spend money on this game. We are supporting the development of a new game that has massive potential, and we all hope that it will reach that potential. And we understand that the dollars that we spend are not really guarantees of what the ship will eventually be. Like, it's pretty obvious that big swings can take place. Well, look at what just happened with the Buccaneer, right? I think I went over this in a previous video. It was an average ship a long while ago, like 312 or whatever. And then somewhere around 314-16, it became really cool because you could load it up with a distortion shotgun and take out shields on almost anything because you were super maneuverable compared to big ships. And then you could take down whatever the hell you wanted, basically. You and a buddy could take down almost anything in a PvE setting. But it sucked for PvP because the Gladius, the Arrow, whatever, almost anything could outmaneuver it, outshoot it, etc. Just they handle better. And then it just kind of sucked for a while after an update that kind of removed distortion capabilities. And now it's like king of PvP in like 1-to-1 and maybe group combat settings where you've got really well-trained fighters on both sides, or at least equally balanced teams. So anything can happen with the ships, folks. And if modularity reaches all of them, boy, that would be... It would be a huge expansion of the verse, for sure. Hey, I just realized I put something in the video about the Retaliator and its modules and didn't show you where you could actually get them. They do not, in fact, have Warbond pricing available for the modules. What they have Warbond pricing on is the tally with one or all of each of these modules. You go to extras, and then you come down to standalone ships, right? This will open up. You scroll down until you see the Retaliator Warbond. This is the base with no modules. Down here somewhere, you've got the non-Warbond one. We don't care about that. Then we've got the Retaliator with cargo, right? And it is a Warbond. So yes, it is a discount here. That's what I was referring to when I said Warbond. I apologize. It was not clear when I was previously speaking. However, the add-ons are available separately within the store. And this is what I was kind of going back and forth on, whether or not I thought it was a reasonable thing to do versus buying them in-game. I'm pretty sure I'm going to stick with buy them in-game, especially because there's no Warbond discount. But if the tally is your ship and you definitely want the modularity and you didn't know where you could just purchase them outright without buying a whole damn ship, well, here you go. It's in the add-ons section here of the store. You click on add-ons, and it pops up, and there's a couple other things down here. I think this stuff has been here forever. There used to be, oh yeah, they got the universe map and stuff. Anyway, this is where they put the add-on packs and stuff like this in the store. So if you can't find it, always go to the add-on section. That's where you can get them. That's it for all the Warbond analysis for day 8 of Invictus Launch Week 2024, or 2954, I suppose, is the in-game date. I guess I got a little long-winded and maybe a little ranty there for a second, but I think it was a good conversation I had with myself and for you to listen in on. Modularity is cool, and it could change the whole game, and, well, I'm going to start ranting again. I guess I'm just going to say, I'm going to stop myself, and I'm just going to say thank you for joining, and I'll catch you next time. Zi-Tek, out.